to give an interesting context. The feeling of working hard isn't equal to you being productive. Controversial topic, but let me explain. Do you know when you learn how to start punching? If you've ever tried boxing, you might know that. Now, when you take a swing, like when you don't know how to punch, and then you go to training the first day, and the coach teaches you how to punch. He tells you, throw a punch, and you start with your hand way back past your face, and then you make a punch to the punching bag. It's like an over-exaggerated moment, and you think that that was a pretty good punch. But unfortunately, your coach tells you, okay, that's not a punch. You're not generating enough power. And then he shows you how to actually generate enough power for your punch. It tells you to start from your feet and then make a movement that goes from your chin to wherever your arm can go when it's extended. Now, the difference between the two is the first punch when you're taking a full swing wide apart from way far back from your head, you feel like you're generating so much power. But in reality, you're really not. But in the second case, when the coach actually tells you how to throw a punch, you learn that that is actually the punch that was necessary. So the feeling of effort doesn't equal to effort. Now, this is a concept that I have studied, which was popularized by Michael Ashcroft. The concept is that habitual tension distorts your sensory impressions. So, rigid stillness or some the things where you feel the most amount of tension or stress, you feel like you are doing something productive. And actual liquidity where you are actually going with the flow, like Bruce Lee said, move like the water. That feels like it's less productive. But in actuality, when you flow like water, you can do more work. It feels less rigid. The right way feels the wrong way. Now, speaking about that, what, how can you implement in your own life? Now, I was reading an article on Substack, and it had a very interesting concept about life. It divided our life into three main theatrics. Just like Shakespeare, he compared our life to a movie. And he said that our life is played in three phases. Number one is work. Number two is relationship with others, like friends, family, whatever. And thirdly, the relationship with self. For example, physical well-being, emotional well-being, your mental health, your spiritual health, everything like that. And he said that when you are going through life, you are approaching at least one of these with the agency of a teenager. Like two of the three, you're doing well. But one of these three, you are approaching in a way that a child would. You are not doing it in a way that an adult would. So now I think it's up to you. What do you want to achieve more, to sacrifice the other? Talking about that, and the fact is, well, my mind is blank. I don't know why. I haven't written a script, so this is me just raw spelling my entire mouth. Pretty interesting, I must tell you. And second thing is, you actually find solutions to your life problems. I read a concept of making yourself the observer. Like, obviously, when you get a problem in your own life, you're very personally attached to it. Like, of course you are. It's your own personal problem. But the concept says that you have to look at the problem like it's not your own. It's a hard concept to grasp, but once you grasp it, you can understand. It tells you that be aware of your problems and your emotions you are facing in response to that problems like a god. Like you are the god just observing and watching what is happening in your mind, your heart, and your soul. And then you are making the right choice. That is actually meant by detachment. Now, that was an enlightening fact because when I read it, the detachment idea did not come to my mind. But while going through this and while talking to you, I have learned what actually detachment means. It means to observe, not to judge, just to observe. Get focused on what actually it is out there, what you're actually feeling, instead of just throwing it away. Now that could make you more impressive and more that will make it easier for you to solve the problem. So, when I talk about being more agentic, you have to understand that in order to get better, you need to do some of the things that normally people avoid. The first one being is you have to look for rejection. It doesn't matter how, you have to fail fast. You have to make the harder choice. You have to take rejections. Second is to seek real feedback. And by feedback, I mean just make it as easy as possible for people to give you feedback. Number three is increase your surface area for luck. And how do you do that? This makes us come to our another point, which is assume that everything is learnable, which means no matter what you are doing, just think of it as you are going to learn something. And you will. If you keep your mind open, you're going to learn something. Another point is don't work too hard. Because when you are in the mindset of hustling and just grinding yourself through the work, you lose out on the perspective. You lose out on looking at your surroundings and calibrating yourself for what the problem actually needs. That's why you would see that there are blinds on a horse. In the past, when the soldiers used to take horses to wars, they did not keep the eyes of the horses wandering around. They tied a black tape or something on their eyes so that the horse could not see what was going on. So doesn't matter if there was danger or there was suicide, the horse would just go forward without looking at anything. So if you keep walking and grinding too hard, you're gonna be just like a blind horse, rushing towards something without knowing it's dangerous or not. Well, I think I've given you enough topics for today. But the important thing is, I do think I need to. learn many things about how to speak very articulately and how to keep my tonality in a way that would make you more intrigued by my voice and more calmer by my voice. That's something I need to improve on. And secondly, I believe that the content that is being put out there is pretty fucking interesting. So do subscribe.